At 10,000 meters above ground, something beneath the cabin caused it to deform, pushing out in strange arcs. The flight attendant thought it was just stowaways hiding, but this Boeing 767 should have lost control and crashed. But, against all odds, it safely landed at Kennedy Airport. The engines shut down, the lights went out, the window shades were all drawn. Even more bizarre, the entire plane was cold to the touch, as if it hadn't even taken off. Less than 10 minutes later, police cars, transport vehicles, and CDC teams arrived, surrounding the site. To confirm if there were any survivors aboard, the CDC decided to inspect the plane. Leading the team was Dr. Eve, along with his capable assistant and biochemical expert. Filled with heavy questions, Eve and Nora suited up in full biohazard gear and carefully entered the ghost flight. As their flashlights illuminated the cabin, they didn't find the expected carnage. Instead, over 200 passengers sat perfectly still, looking normal, their skin intact with even a bit of elasticity. Even stranger, when Nora entered the cockpit, the dead captain suddenly gasped, and behind him stood two survivors. Eve rushed over, only to stumble upon the fourth survivor. The four survivors had no memory of the tragedy in the cabin, their minds a blank. They were immediately quarantined by the CDC. Meanwhile, investigators discovered something out of place deep in the cargo hold. A giant, Gothic-style wooden flower box that resembled a coffin, filled with dirt. The most bizarre thing? The lock had been forcibly broken from the inside, meaning whatever was inside had already gotten out. Greedy airport officials tried to secretly profit from the giant wooden box, but as they prepared it for transport, a strange humming sound filled the air. Following the sound into a dim warehouse, they found a black cloak, writhing as if it were alive. Just as one of the men bent down to investigate, the shadow suddenly lashed out, a thick spiny needle shooting from it, piercing his neck artery. In just 3 seconds, the 1.8-meter man was drained into a desiccated husk. The creature broke his neck with its bare hands, then crushed his skull like tofu before retreating, vanishing without a trace. At the morgue, as the clock ticked toward the end of the shift, the heart of a dead man suddenly began to beat again. The coroner, confused, picked up the heart to inspect it, only for it to spill out a mass of white worms. Within seconds, the worms crawled up his gloves. In a panic, he ripped off the gloves, but one worm had already burrowed into his skin. Acting quickly, he used pliers to pull the half-buried worm out. Thinking he was safe, he turned around, only to find the undead passengers standing behind him.